Good morning, everyone. I'm Dylan Spencer, and joining me today are Liz, Joe, Luke, and Bailey, and we are going to be presenting on Starbucks. Starbucks was founded by Jerry Baldwin, Zev Siegel, and Gordon Boker. They opened their first store location in 1971 at Pike Place Market in Seattle, Washington. At the time, the company's main operations included selling roasted coffee beans to local restaurants and espresso bars, but had not yet brewed its own coffee to sell. In 1883, during a trip to Italy, the director of retail operations and marketing, Howard Schultz, saw the popularity of espresso bars and saw an opportunity to capitalize on an untapped market in the United States. Schultz transitioned Starbucks coffee into coffee houses, which eventually influenced the company to go public in 1992, with a total of 165 locations nationwide at the time. Starbucks now operates with more than 30,000 locations worldwide in over 70 countries. Competitors include Dunkin' Donuts, McCafe, Maxwell House, and many others. At-home consumption has emerged itself as a rising threat to Starbucks, as consumers are less likely to go to an in-store location during the current pandemic. Starbucks suppliers have greatly contributed to the company's success as a vital part of their supply chain. Farmers produce and harvest high-quality coffee beans in regions along the equator that will eventually pass along to the end consumer. Starbucks has been able to create a competitive advantage over rival companies by taking pride in producing a quality cup of coffee and offering the best customer experience and providing a friendly, enjoyable atmosphere to have a cup of the world's most consumed beverage daily.
I'll talk a little bit about the vision and mission for the company. So Starbucks' vision statement is to establish Starbucks as the premier purveyor of the finest coffee in the world while maintaining our uncompromising principles while we grow. And their mission is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. And the underlying message for their mission statement is that Starbucks wants to try to create a unique customer experience for all consumers. Whenever they shop Starbucks products, they want to try to connect with them and try to keep them coming back to Starbucks over time. Some current objectives for the company is that they try to be the leading retailer and brand of coffee in each of their target markets, and also, again, to try and provide that unique experience to each consumer. They try to increase sales by adding locations globally, and in a majority, if not all of those locations, you'll find a very clean workspace. You'll find great customer service, which again speaks to that connection that they're trying to make with the consumer. Some current strategies that they're trying to take is that Starbucks is trying to accelerate growth. They opened 442 new stores in 2019, which brought the total stores globally to 30,000. And they've been able to achieve steady growth in each of the past 5 years with about an average of 5% increase in revenues per year. And they're also able to diversify their products and offer several products to consumers, such as Nespresso pods, coffee beans, ground coffee, anything that is coffee related. Starbucks tries to make it and they try to market it to the consumer as well as they can. Direct competitors for Starbucks would be Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's. While these two both compete at the retail level, Starbucks is able to dominate the both of them. Starbucks has the most retail coffee shop locations across the globe. And as an example, Dunkin' Donuts in the third quarter of 2018, they were able to post $350 million in revenue, whereas Starbucks was able to post $6.3 billion in revenue during that same time frame. So Starbucks clearly has some sort of advantage over those two, whether it's perceived quality or just overall experience. Starbucks has a huge advantage over their direct competitors. And some of the top challenges that Starbucks has seen that they've responded to is the recent surge for ready-to-drink beverages and the demand for cold brew. And Starbucks was able to combat this by offering more ready-to-drink beverages, such as their Frappuccino beverage that comes in the glass bottle. Cold brew coffee is now ready to drink. So they offer a lot of different products that responded to the demand for ready-to-drink beverages and cold brew beverages. Another challenge they faced is people who brew at home. A lot of people prefer coffee brewed at home, so Starbucks has been able to create ground coffee, coffee beans, K cups, as well as coffee creamers to combat this and try and enter the market for take home and brew yourself coffee, I suppose, if that's what you want to call it. And another challenge is the emergence of high end coffee brands. Big one is Blue Bottle Coffee, which is a luxury brand of coffee. Starbucks has been able to combat this by still offering their same quality, high quality product, but they are revamping their stores to make them look more high end. And ultimately, all of these responses to these challenges is to get to the end goal of trying to dominate the entire coffee industry.
The internal analysis portion of a company focuses on the aspects within said company that give it strengths and weaknesses compared to its competition. After completing an internal analysis of Starbucks, there were several strengths and weaknesses that stood out to us. First, we'll go through the strengths. Chiefly among these is Starbucks' brand image and customer loyalty. The Starbucks logo is easily recognizable, and there's a very high degree of loyalty within the customer base. Another major strength is the sourcing of their coffee. Starbucks has undertaken several commitments and projects dedicated to ethical sourcing, specifically to ensure that coffee farmers are paid fairly. A third major strength is the sustainability of their carbon footprint. Similar to their commitments to ethical sourcing, Starbucks has taken steps to limit the carbon emissions from their operations. The last of their major strengths is the company's high equity. Compared to rivals, Starbucks has a notably greater portion of equity compared to debt, meaning a lower chance of insolvency. The most recent Starbucks equity figure stands at $5.82 billion. A minor strength is their customer rewards card, which helps build into customer loyalty, one of their major strengths. Now we'll move to their weaknesses. Starting with their major weaknesses, the first is high waste output from operations. Starbucks is a food provider, and with that comes lots of waste from packaging and other materials. They are in the process of reducing their waste output and implementing anti-pollution manufacturing methods. The next major weakness is water emission. The production of coffee utilizes large quantities of water, and much of it becomes waste in the process. Starbucks is currently promoting methods such as drip irrigation to reduce this waste, but it's still a large problem for them and their competitors. Finally, we move to Starbucks' minor weaknesses. The first of these is the pricing of their products. I'm sure that anyone who has purchased from Starbucks has noticed that their prices are quite high compared to those of their competition, for a product that is not very different in some cases. Another minor weakness, as mentioned before, relates to their waste output with their single-use packaging. However, as stated before, Starbucks is working to remedy this process, implementing recyclable and multi-use packaging. A final minor weakness is the low profit margin. Compared to some of its rivals, Starbucks realizes a slightly lower profit, with its most recent profit margin being reported at 13.81%, while its largest competitor, Dunkin' Donuts, has a profit margin of around 16%.
I'll talk a little bit about the corporate level strategy and some scope changes throughout the years. So, Starbucks is clearly a multi business company and they have a lot of brands under their portfolio. Uh, the main brand portfolio includes Starbucks Coffee, Seattle's Best Coffee, Teavana, and Evolution Fresh. And while all of these brands can be recognized globally, the company overall, their main core business is Starbucks Coffee. And some of the major scope changes that have occurred throughout the years was the opening of the first store, which was in 1971 in Seattle. The company was able to start in Seattle, and it allowed them to enter into a strong market where a lot of consumers consume a lot of coffee, and allowed the brewers of the coffee to focus on providing that high quality cup that people have come to know and enjoy today. Another big scope change was the first drive-through in 1994. In the mid 90s, a lot of people preferred convenience over quality, and that's why a lot of fast food chains saw success. Starbucks was able to implement this drive-through and still give their same high-quality product to the consumer, just offering uh, another ring of convenience, I guess. Another big scope change was the Frappuccino. The Frappuccino was introduced in 1995, and it diversified the entire product line of Starbucks. Today, a consumer can choose from more than 36,000 combinations of Frappuccinos and serves a wide variety of consumers. And the Frappuccino overall serves as a contributor to the high quality product that Starbucks takes pride in serving. In 2006, Starbucks was able to add more to their recycling and environmental initiatives by launching the industry's first beverage cup containing post-consumer recycled fiber. They were also able to add paper cup sleeves in 2012 and eliminate plastic straws with strawless lids in 2018. All of these initiatives try and provide that, again, unique customer experience. And if they can continue to develop this and keep reducing waste, it would, one, be better for the environment, and two, an even better connection with consumers. And finally, one that is occurring right now or in development is the closing of 400 stores for Starbucks Pickup. Before this COVID-19 pandemic, 80% of orders were on the go, and closing these stores allows Starbucks to create Starbucks Pickup, where consumers can order ahead and pick up their products very quickly. Starbucks will reduce their overhead costs without losing too much revenue from closing 400 stores. Should the company consider changing its corporate scope? We as a group said no. Starbucks clearly is very diversified and dominates the entire retail coffee industry. Something that we thought they could internally develop and perhaps make a better product line would be their food, divest in their existing food and try to offer different baked goods, different sandwiches, all while keeping their kind of healthy lifestyle or environmentally friendly lifestyle at their forefront.
So I'm doing the coffee industry and the industry analysis of it as a whole, and there's many key indicators to indicate how the coffee industry is doing. So there's market size, geographic scope, market growth rate, the stages in the industry life cycle, number of companies in the industry, the degree of vertical integration, the pace of the technological change, the consumer needs, product differentiation, and economies of scale. So we're going to start off with the market size and the growth rate. Coffee is one of the largest traded commodities on the market. The market size continues to grow as more people are switching from soft drinks to coffee. There's just a larger variation, and I believe there's more quality in that. Lower cap companies in coffee industry are fiercely competing with each other to make their way up to the larger cap companies. Right now, it's just run by McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Tim Hortons, Starbucks. But as a whole, sales are increasing 4 to 5% per year within the coffee industry. So geographic scope, coffee is mostly consumed everywhere, while Europe is the largest producer of high-quality coffee. A survey in 2016 found that 70% of U.S. consumers prefer at-home coffee, but South America is the largest producer of coffee in the world. So Starbucks, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, Dunkin', widely they're getting their coffee production from South America. Stages in the industry life cycle and the number of companies. So right now, coffee is in the mature stage of its life cycle. The industry is growing at a pace, but not a high rate. It's been around for a long time, the coffee industry, so that indicates why it's in the mature stage of its life cycle, not really going towards its peak. Companies in the coffee industry are massive itself. This includes all the way from the people who roast the coffee to producing it, and then the wholesalers, and then those that sell it at the end. The coffee industry accounts for 1.6% of annual GDP. This would contribute to a lot of companies in the coffee industry and also multiple jobs that come out of it. So you look at the degree of vertical integration and the pace of technological change, both I would say are pretty moderate. The integration is not very heavily used. Mostly it's a supply chain process in the coffee industry. However, though, some companies started to roast their own coffee. This will decrease their transaction and production costs. Overall, the technological pace of the industry is average. Mobile orders and online purchases are the forefront. The POS, point of sale system, is basically when you buy 11 coffees or 12 coffees and then you get like, one free or something. This tries to gravitate the customers in and, have a loyalty customer basis. A major technological change on the agriculture side is the irrigation of coffee plantations. This reduces water consumption for the firm. So ultimate consumer needs and degree of differentiation. You're looking at two to three things from a customer side. Quality in the coffee to produce the best maximum value. You're also looking at a fast process as well to get your coffee, and then you're also looking at a homey environment experience when grabbing your coffee. Differentiation branches off of this because right now in the coffee industry, many like high cap at least companies, they have a wide variety in their menu, which I think appeals to the customer, and also food is offered, which also adds a stronger presence. Last but not least is economies of scale. This has defined the industry to allow large cap businesses to produce at lower transaction production costs. Small cap businesses don't have this luxury. They have to buy from wholesalers, and this actually raises high costs in supplying their goods. For example, though, for Starbucks, since they're a high cap company in the coffee industry, they bought out coffee plantations to reduce their own transaction shipping and purchasing costs, which they have the benefit of doing that, so they get the luxury of having cheaper transaction and production costs.
Overall, the coffee industry is growing. The demographic for coffee spans over almost all ages and genders, and the population only continues to increase. Starbucks has a well-known brand and reputation for offering a high-quality product to its consumers. Younger coffee drinkers prefer Starbucks to other coffee retailers due to their wide offering of coffee beverages, while older coffee drinkers prefer the brand of which they drank when they were younger. Starbucks should continue to satisfy their younger demographic, but should also create new programs and beverages to cater the old demographic. Almost every restaurant or retailer has a rewards program these days. Starbucks offers a rewards program through an app, as well as through a partnership with Visa for a rewards credit card. Technological changes have driven this rewards program, with people being able to use their phone to log their rewards or pay for their order. Starbucks needs to continue to develop their rewards program to offer the best program for consumers. They can offer this through discounts by ordering over the app, larger prizes, or even giveaways. Also, having a preferred customer program that rewards customers who regularly spend at Starbucks would be beneficial as well. Starbucks has already partnered with farmers in growing ethically sourced coffee. 99% of Starbucks coffee is ethically sourced through coffee and farmer equity practices, which provides high quality coffee and leaves a positive impact on farmers and their families. Starbucks should continue to use their practices and invest in more farmers to get their coffee to 100% ethically sourced. This will provide the same taste in all stores and will create a larger supply of their coffee.
Due to the nature of the coffee industry, there are different strategic challenges that Starbucks has to face. One challenge is that coffee production can lead to high waste output and a large carbon footprint. Starbucks has already implemented strategies that have allowed them to cut their carbon waste in half. If they further improve these strategies, they can continue to cut their carbon waste. Another industry challenge is that amongst the coffee industry, there's a lot of competition amongst rivals. Starbucks and its competitors produce very similar products and they have to compete through price. And Starbucks notably has significantly higher prices than their competition. For them to be more competitive and minimize the threat presented from competition, they could start by lowering their prices. Another challenge Starbucks has to face is a high bargaining power of buyers. Since competitor products are so similar, there are essentially no switching costs, and buyers ultimately decide who will be successful. Again, if Starbucks could lower their prices to push out competitors, it would help minimize the bargaining power of buyers. The conclusion our group has reached about Starbucks is that they are a diversified company with a strong brand image and excellent customer loyalty, and the strategies they have implemented as a company seem to be working well for them. For Starbucks to become more successful, they should not necessarily diversify more, but rather further develop the different brands that they have, such as their food that they sell in Starbucks coffee shops. However, recently, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Starbucks has made the strategic decision to close several of their stores and open Starbucks on-the-go stores. These stores give customers a safe way to pick up their food and beverages with a walk-up window and not having to go inside a store. This allows for a speedier transaction to take place, which a lot of consumers enjoy.